Yo, what up? It's Bradley.
Be toast.
Hey, and this is Randy.
Rambo Savage.
Welcome to the Beacon Road. Yo,
what
is
up?
up, y'all?
Hello there.
Hello. So, welcome to episode one, right?
Episode 1, the very first episode, right
Very
off the
first.
gate. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
You guys are our very first listeners. So to celebrate, let's take a shot.
Let's take a shot. All
'Cause
right,
it's-
let's go for it.
Because this is a moment, guys. We've been waiting for this, so. Yo.
Ooh. No chaser podcast.
No chase, no face.
I got a face.
You got a burp?
Definitely got a burp, bro. That's, it is what it is for sure. So welcome to the first official episode of Beacon Road, a podcast that me and Randy are.
Both just started.
We just started, yeah. Go ahead.
So, how long have we started? I feel like it's only been a month and a half, but I feel like it's been about 11 pay periods and dog years of us talking about this.
I think we've been talking about doing something creative for a long, at least when we started hanging out, right?
I mean, we have, but not like a full collaboration.
Yeah, we haven't done a full collaboration until maybe a couple months ago. I think our first collaboration we worked on was really just your music video.
Yeah.
And then I maybe did a couple of cover arts for you. But now this is the first time we're putting our idea into a real action, which is pretty cool. So,
and we grew. We got better at our crafts respectively, and now I feel like it's a good time for us to create a whole podcast and show.
a whole
just together.
podcast and show. Don't ask us what it is exactly. We don't really know.
We're gonna be
yet.
extra about it,
But we're gonna figure it out on the way for sure. I think it's the real thing that we're trying to do is really create something consistently, right?
Exactly.
Let's continue. I think we have it where the past 3 Saturdays so far, we've been doing it and just oh, this is idea. Okay, let's turn this new idea. Okay, and then we start structuring it out. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, instead of Saturday morning cartoons, we just do Saturday morning just create together.
Saturday morning podcast and stuff.
So yeah, creative consistency, I think for creatives or just me specifically, I feel like was just a very important thing that I needed. The only thing I really wanted, just because, shoot, man, it's rough out here.
Yeah.
And especially if you feel like you're alone, man, you gotta generate some type of happiness and not expect it to come from somewhere else but yourself,
Yeah, for sure. I think the one thing for me on this podcast or show that we're creating, I really wanted to push the quality of it, right? Because we've seen a lot of content in a bunch of different places, and I just feel not to be mean, but some of the Filipino kids or whatever, it's good, but it's not at the high quality level that it could be, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think. I don't want to name any channels.
Shade,
on top of the dome, but there's some channels out there all right, you picked the first font, or okay, you didn't you didn't pick the quickest edit, use a Final Cut transition or whatever,
Basic
default stuff. Yeah. So
for me, speaking of quality, look at that blue and yellow and a lightning bolt. We could make it static shot. We could shout out Pikachu. We could do little St. George colorway. We could do Lakers colorway.
Yeah, we really thought about this, man.
I
Even
mean-
Beacon Road, right? It's it's people we're from Beacon Hill.
Yeah.
Right. So that, but then road, both spelled in the road microphones, and also Beacon Road or Beacon Ave or whatever. That's where we're from. So it's kind of open ended on just who we are and the culture of what came from Beacon Hill too, which is pretty awesome. So going into that, I think we should also introduce who we really are.
Would make sense because this is the first episode.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming that our friends and family are going to be watching this, you kind of know us. But for those who don't know us, I guess we gotta make an introduction, like a icebreaker in high school where it's gonna feel mad awkward. But so let me ask you first. Who are you? Dude, honestly, that question makes me feel so introverted because imagine you
are
on a
you?
first date and then someone's like, what do you like to do for fun? Who are you?
I
Where
feel
do I even start? Every time someone asks me a question like that, I feel like I go through a quarter life crisis of
I don't know.
I don't know. What do I do for fun? Am I just a boring person? Or I don't know who I am.
I like long walks on the beach. I don't know. Okay, so you're asking me who I am. So I am
generically.
Yeah, so I'm Bradley. You can follow me on BToast on Instagram. I forget my Twitter handle. It's probably BToast or
Are
something.
you still on Twitter?
Barely.
Your Facebook is your Twitter now.
Yeah, Facebook's more my Twitter now. But B Toast, you can follow that. I have another Instagram that's more my professional design stuff, just Bradley Santos _. But the main channel I'll be doing is B Toast, and I'm just a creative from Seattle. I mean, I have a professional life too, like design and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really me. Nothing too special. Anything else should I introduce? I don't know. I like ice cream.
I mean, I feel like you guys are just, hopefully y'all tune in and just get to know us more. I mean, we could say who we are, but it's for you guys to judge, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go on the other side. So, who are you, icebreaker and things?
I think on episode 2, I kind of touched on it, but I don't know, a rapper uncle.
What's your name, bro?
Creative. Oh, my name is Randy. At Rambo Savage 206 is my main IG. Probably gonna take down my other Instagram, but
if
whatever.
you can find it, we'll give you a feature on this podcast
if you want. We'll give you a bottle or something.
Yeah,
a mini bottle.
Mini bottle.
But
travel size.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. A lot of you guys may know me as the loud guy that cracks jokes and is funny, but I don't know. Well, part of the thing for this is I kind of want to introduce myself as like the real me for like people who actually know me. I'm not just some loud guy that drinks and makes jokes. I mean, I'm cool doing that, but you know, there's a different layer for me, and I think you guys are just gonna be surprised, hopefully entertain as well.
I think the other part that's gonna be kind of cool in our deep shit episode, they get to know us like on a real level, right?
No filter. We pull back because I feel like some people are gonna watch this.
I mean, we kind of have to pull back.
We can't name drop. We might get in trouble for things that we would say.
But for some stuff that we go through, like, we're definitely just
deep shit from the jump got very real very quick.
All right, here's a small teaser. Okay, everybody that's listening, when was the last time you cried?
Ooh, comment down below.
Comment down below.
I mean, you could DM us.
You could DM us.
We're gonna have some more prompts for you guys, but not as deep. But yeah, I mean, that's who I am, kind of.
Yeah. So maybe let's talk a little bit like why we want to start this podcast more in detail. Did we cover that? I don't know.
I mean, the creative consistency is, for me, I think that's the only answer that I have for it.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just having fun and not taking life too serious. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this podcast is like, we are so extra for no reason. We got the light, we got the thunderbolt.
But if everyone's doing a podcast, we might as well be extra. It's in our nature to be extra.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you know us personally, we're definitely like, we'll go to the very top.
And now we started this podcast. Now everyone does a podcast, but now we're understanding why people don't do the video part, the extra stuff. There's a lot of stuff to think about. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, there's a lot of stuff money-wise you got to put up for.
Yeah. And some of the stuff we'll be covering in this podcast, we'll definitely talk about Seattle. We're going to do a little sports section. We'll see how that goes. Both me and Randy are really big into music. So that's gonna be really cool too.
Ooh, I wanna add to the why we went and started this.
Yeah.
The fact that we're documenting. Shit. Like, bro, if you guys follow me on IG, I have a hashtag where I say new nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that's basically of like being responsible for your happiness and to create positive energy. I'm a pessimist, if you guys don't know. That's another thing that I define as.
Deep shit.
I'm a pessimist, so I make it a point to like, just like my parents, be unfazed with like stressful situations and still bring that energy, because you know, people don't even like coming out anymore as social situations. So I mean, I feel like I take it upon me to
I think that's a really important reason on why we're doing this podcast too, you know. I think it's a really cool aspect to
and the fact that we have all ball intro,
dude, that's gonna be fun. The sports part, woo,
dude, that's sick. I can't wait for you guys to watch that. That's gonna be tight.
So anyways, going back to it, so some of the things that will be on this podcast, hopefully this is not like set in stone or anything, but definitely we're gonna be talking sports, music, Seattle. We're gonna have some deep conversations that not a lot of people talk about.
Also some conversations that challenge your moral compass, your thinking, your thought process, and just the way we justify our thought process maybe makes you think a little bit more. In contrast to making y'all laugh.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're gonna have fun with it too, but we know we're gonna go all over. We're not gonna just be like just a jokester podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna have some good balance on this.
Yeah.
So
and so with that, we're gonna talk a bit some creative stuff, the process, and some relevant things. Some relevant things that are going on social media. Some relevant things that are going on with, like, I don't know, other cultures, other
for sure.
music and hip hop and conversations, and us being Filipino and being brown and all that stuff like that. Not in a way that is, how do I explain this? Not in a way that is racist or anything, but in a way of like celebrating our culture and also talking real stuff about our culture.
And
so,
which is the main part of this is what we're getting into. But before that, I just want to say also, we're going to trust the process, explain the process. And, you know, this is going to be a battle of create consistency and resilience and, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what we got, but hopefully we got a lot for you guys.
I mean, we got a couple episodes down before the first one, so, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into our main topic for today. Randy,
So there is an article going around on Facebook. It is written by Abby Pasion.
Ooh.
I gotta throw some mango salsa in that joint. If I butchered your last name, sir, I'm sorry.
Banana ketchup.
But
sir, it's a lady, right?
Oh, it's a lady?
Abby?
Well, I don't know the video. I don't know who wrote it, but
I think the writer
was a lady, and
yeah,
then
but the person
video
who started that whole thing is
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
what's
yeah.
up? But whoever started that.
So Abby, you killed this article. This was very well written. When I read this, I felt like it should have been written sooner. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But the title of this is Filipino. Wait, hold on. That's not the.
Was it toxic?
It's on onedown.com.
Yeah. Shout outs to what they're doing at onedown.com. They're talking about Filipinos and mental health. So definitely, we're giving them a shout out. We've never met them or anything like that, but definitely like some of the stuff they got on there is pretty good.
Yeah, but the title is Addressing Toxic Behaviors in Filipino Families. # Your Mind, Your Movement.
Yeah.
Written just like a few days ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah. We're trying to stay relevant topics out here.
So we're gonna dive in real quick. But before we go into this article, I just want to say we got love for Filipinos.
We love our culture. I
mean, love is a strong word, but we got love for.
Yes.
But I just personally feel like we're a little hyped as a culture.
Yeah.
And a little glorified and put on a pedestal. And because of that, I think like Americans love us, but I just feel like some people take it to the head where, okay, but you gonna just not work on yourself.
Yeah.
So before we go in, I don't know if y'all are gonna be triggered or feel some
we're not
animosity.
trying to trigger people out here. We're
just trying to get better as a culture, because sometimes, you know, I see Filipinos do some very disappointing and out of pocket things, and I'm like, why do you got to be Filipino, bro?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I felt like I wanted to call a couple meetings and just be like, yo,
Filipino meeting real quick.
We need to do better, but
we need to have a convention.
But before we do that, I mean, we're dope, I guess. I mean,
I think, okay, I'm gonna add to that. I love our Filipino culture for sure, and I love some of the aspects of it, like the family aspects of it. But there's some hard imperfections that are really, you know,
that's very ingrained.
That's been ingrained. Like if you read the article for the people that have read it, it's like it explains it really well of how ingrained some of these imperfections are. Where like we can't look at our parents and blame it on them. We can't look at the grandparents and blame it on them. We have to look with generations and years of it. So it's really interesting to go through that and to be able to dissect that a little bit. So
yeah, so the very first part of the article, let's just read a little bit of it.
Let's start breaking it down a little bit.
And it starts with the very first sentence, or the very first part of the article I love, just because it doesn't take a shot or throw shade at just Filipinos in general, but I think it's just a generational problem that that we have as like a young millennials. So basically he says, or she says, I wasn't invited to a cousin outing, but she wasn't bitter about it. So she was happy. She pressed like on the post and she said, I missed them. Yeah. So which I think is a good thing, because when people hit you with a thanks for the invite, like, bro, I love y'all, but I'm just saying, if you guys know me, I'm pretty sure if we were to keep count, I am excused from the TFTI, bro. Like everybody in my contact list, I'm pretty sure I have invited you to more things than you have. And I'm not saying it as a bitter thing, but it's like people literally take that to heart. Like people invite me. Dude, I had a cousin hit me up very last minute today. Earlier today on like a family thing that I wanted to go to, but I didn't know about till very last minute. And I'm like that dude that people like, why don't you invite Randy? I was like, oh, I mean, at least you guys, I'm grateful that y'all thought of me at least in general. But last minute, I was like, dude, I even have a life. Come on, I could.
Yeah. So, I think it's also hard to like, when you get that invite, like, it makes you look bad. Like when you get that last minute stuff, you're like, oh,
like, dude, of course I want to go to, but I can't.
Yeah. It's like, I want to, but like.
Now you're putting me in the spot.
Yeah. It's like, oh, crap. Okay. What else does it say in the article?
So after that, they go straight into the toxic behaviors. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure you guys know like a Filipino family. If you're not Filipino, like a Filipino party and how that goes. You want to talk about how the culture of what is that like?
Yeah. Like the Filipino.
I mean, it's fun.
The Filipino culture, like it's classic. Like it's almost stereotypical. Where like
there's hella food.
Everybody's gathering. There's probably titos.
There's drunk uncles and drunk aunties
talking, and then there's like the cousins all hang out in one. There's a little kids hang out in one corner.
Yeah.
And there's always like certain amount of food. Like I think if you go on their website to where that article is posted, there's like a video that kind of shows the classicness of that.
Yeah.
But if you look in between the lines, there's also a little bit of that toxic behavior during those things too. Yeah.
And to just throw another part into that is that we are the drunk uncles now.
We're the earlier parts of that, but yes.
To age us to this year is 2020 and it's our 10-year high school reunion.
Yeah.
Everyone got kids.
We ain't young, bro.
Filipinos have big families, so if you've been to a Filipino party, hella food, it's kind of loud, even though not everybody has a big family.
Yeah.
But there's numbers in a household.
I think it's also when you walk into the Filipino household, even if it's small, it feels loud, right? When you walk in, like it feels like, oh, there's only 10 people here. Why does it feel like it's 25 to 30 people and stuff like that?
Yeah. So a part of the article, they mention judgment, child bragging, body shaming, and public ridicule.
Yo, if you're a Filipino kid, young adult, have you felt that in some way or another?
Like where someone throws shots at you just to like make a joke, a light joke. Their intentions is a light joke, but it literally. Because I don't know, a lot of people are sensitive. I feel like you just have to assume that people aren't tough.
Yeah.
I mean.
And I think also in like the Filipino culture, it's kind of built as a joke. But like, imagine you're doing that as a younger kid, right? And you're starting to build some of those like little jokes in there. Like imagine like that subtle build of insecurity, that subtle build of like a comparison. Like as a child.
Comparing. What do you want to talk about first? Body shaming or child comparing? Because I know everyone's gonna do it. Like I'm for sure probably gonna end up.
I really hope
doing
you
child
don't.
compare.
I really hope. You don't.
Not a subtle stunt of like, oh, this is my nephew. Even like blah blah blah.
I
don't feel like I'd put it in people's face. Like,
I think there's a level of being proud of your family member, but I think the child comparison thing is kind of like in the article. It says like, oh, look at your look at your kuyo. He's a pharmacist or something like that, and I don't like that.
Yes.
Like
there's so many wrong things. Joe Coy made a great joke a bit about Filipinos forcing medical field upon people, but like you guys really don't. I work in the medical field my whole life, and I feel like everyone's jumping into that before they actually know what it is. Like in the beginning, you're gonna sign your social life away. You're gonna be working hard hours, maybe 12s if you're a nurse. And I think it's just not even just Filipinos in general, but it's like we need to start having that dialogue earlier of when you're in a sophomore in high school that you need to like make a plan of action and see what your kid does well. Like ask them what if money was an issue, what you would do. Like find what they're passionate about and what they're good at naturally in school. And then figure out what schools complement that and have that conversation. I mean, sophomore, junior year of high school, if you guys thought about it, like I didn't know what I wanted to do until like later. So I mean, but if they don't have it figured out, help them figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think another thing too to kind of balance that out is this like the OGs, like the Filipino parents that are from the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Like they never had that process. It also comes from the top down, where like, since you have those resources now with your kid to really think like that, let them think like that. Yeah. Because when I remember I literally talked to my parents about this article, and they were like, we never thought about chasing our passion.
I mean, we are first generation, so it's kind of like we are the
we are kind of the
guinea
test
pigs,
subjects,
really.
for sure. And I think the interesting part is like my mom was just like, I was never taught to think like, what am I good at? Like, it was more of like, go to college and get a job
and figure it out.
And so it was only until my parents moved here where they realized they didn't have to go on that survival mode anymore. And I think what happened is they still taught their kids as if they were in survival mode, and they taught how to pursue certain things that they maybe weren't too happy about. And I think that's what led to some of that toxic culture, where it's just like, but what if I don't want to be a pharmacist? What if I can't? What if I'm not good at that?
Your kid might be smart. It takes a lot to be a creative, to make that as a career. Like, people aren't built for the hospital. People aren't built to have a 3.2 GPA.
Yeah.
And, you know, it doesn't mean they're dumb. They're just
and also like,
I want to say that progression at any pace is still progression. There's a very like, figure shit out before you're a sophomore in high school or a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe I need to take a break or think shit before all that happens.
Yeah, because also everybody starts at a different place. Like, if you're progressing or whatever, like, you could still be progressing at a certain place, but still be ahead of somebody and behind somebody else, which could not align with a certain timeline of certain things, right? I think that's a really interesting aspect to have. Let's talk about a little bit about like some of the other stereotypes that Filipinos go through,
and the truth in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the truth,
stereotypes is based off truth, right? Karaoke joints, that's definitely facts. Big facts. Big trust. Shout outs to marketing.
For sure. Just get a shot in there and some
sure.
karaoke, bro. For sure. That's a hilarious one.
I know, like, especially when people can't sing. Singing is very difficult, and they just start singing like nobody's business, like nobody's watching. Straight out of tune, but hella loud.
Yeah, for sure. What's some other ones we got written up here? I mean, there's that.
Well, let's touch on body shaming. I mean,
that's the classic. Even like if you're a guy and a girl, like you walk in, your grandma's like, hey, you got fat. Hey, you got skinny. It's like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, right? There's never like, what do you like? What's my goal weight? Like,
I've never heard. Well, if there's Lolas out there that say you look good today,
you must have been glowing.
Yeah,
you must have looked
sharp
like,
that
always.
day. Because I've never heard that. Like, it's always like, I remember like back in the day when my Lola, like, oh, you look skinny. You need to eat today. Here's some more food. You're looking skinny. And then it's just like, hey, you gained weight. What's going on? And I was like,
you
bro,
just fed me hella pork. That's what you did.
Fed me a bunch of lechon today. What you want from me?
Yeah, I mean, that's sensitive.
Yeah, that's a little sensitive. And I mean, if you think about it too, I bet you like that happens when they're a kid. They would have no idea what that's doing to them.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're like 5 or 6 years old, and you're just like, did I get fat?
Because grandmas and aunties and uncles, they be taking shots at you with no chill. Like, it's like they're drunk all the time, but they're not, just sober, just straight for your throat.
Yeah. And I want to like go back on that. I'm sure that there's their reasonings too, or they're joking around just because it's like fun humor in their head, but like it still leaves some damage, a little bit of scars on some of these kids.
Yeah, in the article they mentioned, "Oi, you've gotten better."
I like
it's like it's happy weight. Like, man, couples do that. I mean, the dialogue is either you've gotten fatter or you don't have a boyfriend yet or a girlfriend.
Oh, dude, that's
Jazz.
She's in here, but I remember the days when they were like, why don't you have a girlfriend? And I'm like, I don't know, Lola, leave me alone.
I'm trying to find someone special, not just someone. Dude, episode 2, we're gonna get into that.
Episode 2 is good.
What's the most messed up thing that you guys were told you?
Most messed up thing that we've heard
from an auntie or
oh shoot,
not me. I haven't had a crazy shot.
I mean, I think definitely not painful, but just hearing the like, oh shoot, I got skinny or I got fat. It's like, oh, I remember my Lola didn't like my hair. It sucked. My Lola didn't like my hair. She's like, what did you do to your hair? I was like, I don't know. okay, apparently it was a bad idea.
It's like drastic.
It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember what hairstyle I had, but I remember like there was a conversation like that for sure.
I feel like everybody's resistant to change, but like especially drastic change, Filipinos
Yeah.
don't really say. Well, I think I had one moment where I brought a girl to the house.
Yeah.
And she looked at her like up and down and was like, Allah, how old is she?
In front of her?
Like, I don't know if she didn't say she heard, but she might have heard because my grandma's kind of loud.
Okay.
I love you, grandma. Shout outs to my roommate. But yeah, I don't know if she felt crunchy or like blushed after that, but like, I was jokingly like, yeah, I checked her ID. She's fine. She's good. She's of age, grandma. She's straight.
Yeah. I think there's one, I don't think it was like a super harsh one, but like there was definitely a little bit of looks when I said I'm going to graphic design. It wasn't like bad. It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a job? Is that a decent career? Going into design, I remember family members, they kind of gave me a little bit of a look, but not in a bad way, in a way of like, was that the best solution?
Yes.
Like
For you,
for
yes.
me, yeah. Like after a while, but like I remember like, I mean, I think it was more of like my family members just really being, I mean, my parents were super supportive in it, but everyone around us, they're like, we don't know what that is. We don't know what that looks like. But having them see me now and seeing what I'm going through and having like a solid job, they're just very happy on that. And so that's really cool on that standpoint.
And when aunties and uncles dig at your confidence, subconsciously, repeatedly, low-key, and in Filipino culture, it's like you have to kick it with your family. Like that's a very important thing that we prioritize. And I mean, if you're sensitive, then you just have to take the hits and still keep giving that respect, because the OGs in the Filipino family are kind of put on a pedestal, which is earned because they earned that. But you know,
I think they earned that, but also it's like, don't
poke at someone's insecurities.
Yeah, don't poke at it. Don't poke at it. Don't make it toxic. Like elders will always respect you.
But they show it in a not direct way of what we would want, because there's a culture gap between our aunties and uncles and versus us. I mean,
and also the reality, they probably don't know how to support us in whatever doing.
Whatever support means, because auntie and uncle will like literally will diss you in front of your face, but like gas you up when talking about you with their other family members or other friends. They're like, oh, I'm proud of this, blah blah blah. But you never told me you was proud of me in my face.
If you're proud of your family member, whatever, say it to their face, first before sharing it to public. I definitely am all about like public praise, but also praise in private, praise on a one-to-one, right? Be able to say you're proud of them for doing that. You're proud of them for doing that instead
Please
of
do that.
Because like, I love my parents, right? And they might listen to this. Hi mom, hi pop, how's it going? But like whenever they would say I'm proud, like they're proud of me, like it was super more significant than having it be in a group setting, where it's like, oh yeah, you just do this, and it's like, cool. But when they would say it, like, I'm really proud of you for doing this, like, oh,
I remember that feeling of doing that. That's an amazing feeling when they actually feel like they look at your eyes and just be like, I'm proud of you.
And they understand like where you're at. Like
just the way that they said it is different.
Yeah.
I mean, because people just say, oh, I'm proud of you just to be nice.
Yeah.
But like they actually, they time it well, I think.
Yeah.
Like, when you go through some shit.
Yeah.
And come back.
Once like your parents or your elders figure it out, dude, it's nice for sure.
But to backtrack on confidence, I want to talk about that. When they do throw shade at you, I just want to talk about, it's good to have that balance of confidence, unapologetic, like Kanye West Side type of confidence, of borderline arrogance, because people are insecure.
Yeah.
Everyone has insecurities, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I think that's important.
Well, and we're gonna double check these cameras real quick, make sure everything's recording. Okay, so back to the Kanye confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I said what I wanted to say. It
Yeah.
feels good to have confidence when you're just like, it's very brief.
It's
very brief, but it's like very loud. Well, speaking for me personally, it's like, it's very loud and like just high energy of just complete faith in yourself, especially after you've been through some shit.
Yeah. That's true. It's like
It's a
definitely
good, healthy balance, right?
especially like, I mean, I don't know, confidence in high school, right? Like, how were you dealing with that in high school or like even grade school and stuff like that?
I mean, because it's confidence in the high school and middle school doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of like you're confident about things that doesn't even matter. Like really, like.
But I mean, like just for like you being you in high school, right? Like not saying like you're doing something extra. Like how did you feel through that? Because like for me, like I was very insecure about just doing basic stuff in high school, right? And I think that might be coming back from like a little bit of the toxic culture from the Philippines, right? And that's a part where, like, imagine if you had a little bit more confidence in high school, what you would have tried, right? Or what I would have tried. But like just to be able, I don't know. I remember there's a couple people, not a couple of people, there's a couple things I remember of like Filipinos, like, why would you do that? Within like friends, like maybe not family, but like when the culture of Filipino friends, like, oh, that's weird, or why are you doing that? Or even I was a part of that culture. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why would you do that club, or why would you do that thing? When in reality, it's probably because I was insecure to start and try and do that too. So I think that balancing it out, like really trying to find the confidence in yourself soon and early, is really important for you to be vulnerable and try other things.
I feel like people in high school were a lot nicer and more supportive than now. For me, honestly, I feel like if I had my skill set of as an artist in high school, that would have built a little traction. I feel like I think people were definitely more welcoming to the fact that, oh, you're a rapper and you want to do that.
Yeah,
but I just didn't have the skills to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I wish I did, but you know, not everyone has it at the beginning.
Yeah, you know, I didn't have the confidence to like dance in high school.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just like, it was just like my little niche in like grade school or whatever. But like, when
there's a lot more people now.
A lot more people. I remember like dance battles. I was like,
Bro, mine was hella funny. I mean,
really?
I went to Kentwood, if you guys don't know, and my first dance was amazing. I had a little cipher. People thought I could dance very well, which I kind of. I mean, for some reason, it just started clicking.
Yeah.
I think I was just having hella fun. I mean, that's another thing about dancing in public is kind of like, if you feel like you're having fun and you're not really worrying about looking stupid, then I think you probably look good doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was
happening. I think that's a big part that make dancers really, like, I remember when I used to coach, like the biggest thing to tell the team or whoever's dancing is like, don't be afraid to look stupid, because if you hold back and think that you look stupid, then you actually do, because you look like you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But like with the Dougie, like I remember teaching people how the Dougie's like, just pretend you know it, bro.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, just pretend you do. And it's like, oh, and then it's like, then it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. To be innovative, you gotta look stupid a couple times. You see these people on the runway doing like Tom Brown and like all kinds of outlandish type of things, and you know, people are gonna judge you, but like, what? It ain't that crazy.
Yeah, for sure, ain't that crazy. I mean, whoever's gonna judge you is like, whatever, bro. Like, what they gonna do?
Yeah.
In reality, it's like, give you a dislike. It's like, whatever, bro. At least you have the confidence to be like, I did that. Did you? If you do it better than me, that's fine. But whatever. Like, you do your thing, whatever. I'm gonna do my thing.
It's not like we're competing, bro. We're just out here. Like, it's not a competition every time.
For real. All right, let's go back to a little bit of that article. So something that was interesting on that article, in 2015, there was a review on depression among Asian American adults, found that Filipino Americans have the highest rates of depression among Asian Americans, which is like, looking back at it, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, as a kid. But the sad part is, yet Filipino Americans are seeking mental health or mental treatment at some of the lowest rates. So imagine being as a kid going through anxiety and depression, and your parents are like, man up, you're weak. Right? Or like, you'll be fine, it's nothing.
Yeah, because our aunties and uncles didn't believe in depression. It's literally like a scientific thing in your CT scan where your hormones and you can see it. It's colored, and it's an obvious thing. Yeah, and people laugh at that. Like,
and that's the part that's kind of sad, where it's just like, dude, like, you also need like physical help in some of those things, right? Like, I remember when I talked to my parents about this, like, super young, like, it was like, when you were depressed, it's like, oh, just pray about it. I'm like, prayer does some things.
Yeah.
Like, me being a religious person, it does some things, but if you're going through like an actual mental health or a mental imbalance in your head, I believe in prayer, but like also get a little bit of help from like a therapist
Something
or a
needs to
doctor.
happen, right? Yeah, and I think I don't know if you guys could relate to this, but I haven't gone through this personally because my parents and family are luckily just they listen very well and they don't make fun of you when you don't want to be made fun of. But like I can't imagine like opening up to somebody and like I'm going through these issues and just say, oh, I'm depressed or like feel some type of way. Yeah. And they like laugh at you and say, shut up. You're just being sensitive or
and the sad
being
part,
hella harsh with
the sad part
words
is like, I haven't experienced it that much either, but the sad part is like, there are people that go through that.
Yeah. And then now they're thinking about like, oh, my problems aren't really justified. It sounds stupid to people. Like the first time you open up to somebody is they look at you like a joke, like being extra or being extra sensitive.
Yeah. Like I remember I was talking to my friend about that article, and then we were just laughing around on like YFC days, and how like no wonder we cried so much. Like high school, it's like no wonder we were so emotional back then. Shout out to YFC and YFL. That's a great program just to learn about Jesus and have a dope community. Yeah,
I've only been there once, but
you still remember it.
That was one of the most iconic moments. I've met a lot of good people through that. Yeah. But to touch on the depression,
let's touch on the depression part,
serious part. But I don't like throwing that around too much. As just a word. But I feel like a lot of people have gone through that. Yeah, personally, I mean, I have a song about it and everything, but that is the reason why I feel like I have to be entertaining and funny, is just because I feel like I have to assume that everyone's going through some type of serious mental, not health, but like mental issue.
Yeah. Yes, Jess? What? Yeah, Jazz. Okay, Jazz in the background, executive producer out here. I was kidding. Chime in. What do you think?
I think just being in
Talk a little bit closer because that mic right there.
I think talking about being Filipino and like knowing the culture, one thing to keep in mind is that like Filipinos are very prideful and they don't like talking about their feelings and like talking about your feelings.
They don't like admitting to they need help.
Yeah, and so like we could all be depressed and no one will know.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's like sense of humor is their like scapegoat. Like every time. It's
I think about like some of their sense of humor is just like they're doing it to hide some of their pain. Yeah. Right. I mean, if you think about like,
which I'm probably guilty.
Thank you, Jazz, for chiming in on that one.
Great point.
She gave a thumbs up, but it's like, for example, the titos that like are drinking, like what are they hiding from? What are the pains that they're going through?
Yeah. They don't really talk about their stuff personally.
I don't think they even know how to talk about that stuff, right? They don't even know that they're going through that type of pain or insecurity. Like imagine like young adult and you're like, I don't know, or an adult parent, family, and you don't know why you feel a certain way.
Yeah. Through mental and like Western medicine, like OGs don't get checked up. That will literally get you. That will, man, you are going to be grateful that you have health insurance, because OGs think that, oh, I don't have any symptoms. You 60 years old, you ain't got no checkup. You better learn how to get a checkup nowadays because you
There's a lot of little things that are like, whatever, it's been like that.
Yeah, and I'm fine. Like, I don't need a... Man, you have health insurance. You're paying for it. Use it.
Might as well use it. I think it also goes back to, like, that's a physical aspect, but mentally, right? Like, I'm fine. I'm like, are you?
Not really, bro.
Like, not really, bro. Like, okay, let's talk some real, like, let's go back to, like, when we mentioned deep shit earlier. Ask your parent, ask your sibling, when was the last time they cried?
And they wouldn't want to admit. Like, even me, I kind of deflected that. I was like, oh, not from laughter.
Yeah, blah, blah. Right? Like, think about, like, that initial reaction as Filipinos. We're like, we're not going to answer that.
Yeah. And my answer, if you guys listen to Deep Shit eventually, like, I probably botched that answer because, like, I came up with an answer that was 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure, like, I cried in my car by myself. Yeah. Like, just thinking about speaking at my dad's funeral or, like... Just low key.
Don't cry, bro. Don't cry.
These are not light skin tears. These are just, bro. I was the dust and everything was just in my eye today.
But it's one of those things where like having those conversations. Like imagine having those conversations with your parent. Like I remember, like you could totally hear like your parent maybe like, what are you talking about? Like
why are you asking this?
Yeah.
Why are you getting so personal?
Yeah. Or even like an older sibling is like, what do you want from me? Right. I don't know. It's pretty interesting to see that in that sense for sure. I think it's really important also, like really what we're trying to do with this talking about this article, one, give it some coverage if we have any coverage for anybody who's listening, but also it's important to that conversation, like that thing went pretty viral in like the Filipino communities.
Because everyone can relate to that.
Yeah, and it's really real. Like it's a real thing that people go through, and it talks about both sides.
Yeah.
Where like OGs and elders, like our parents, like it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
They've been hiding some of these pains. Like a lot of their culture and environment when they grew up has been around survival and just getting out of poverty and getting out of things. So I could see where that pride comes in. We're like, we made it. Who are you to tell me?
Like, what else do you need? What else do you want? Shout outs to all the aunties and uncles hustling, working hard. We definitely, as a culture, I think, I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm probably gonna get some slack for it, but like I think Filipinos in general, Filipino OGs are great providers, like top tier for sure. Great providers, hustled, learned a second language, came here and made no excuses.
Yeah.
But the parenting side needs to get worked on because I mean, to ask for both is a lot. I mean, I'm grateful for my parents. They put me in a situation that gave me a starting point higher than a lot of people have. So I'm going to blame myself for dropping the ball. But I mean, as a parenting, I think that's the harder part for our culture is, we got the provider side down, but as parents,
I think
dialogue
I'm
going to
add on to that too. It's like parents, right? Like, I think Filipino parents need to not assume that they understand what it means to be a parent all the time, especially if you're young and you're a father. You're like, oh, I know how it is. Like,
one or two kids, it's a new thing for you.
It's new. It's brand new. Talk to your parents. Ask for help. Be comfortable. Be like, what do you do when your child is like this? Or talking to them like, because some of those behavioral things, like imagine if you do it, a certain negative or toxic behavior that you don't know, and you're dealing with that 10 years later. Right? Or your kid's dealing with that 10 years later. But if you just ask another parent, like, oh, I probably maybe would have done this a little bit to encourage that way.
Learning a new language and being able to communicate to your kid in a way that they don't feel attacked or try to make them feel supported.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out, because they don't know what it's like to go to school in America and try to get accepted to a program or going through growing up with kids in America.
Yeah, the
it's
challenge
completely different. There's a big gap.
The challenges are super different.
Like now, when we're gonna grow up as parents, we've been through that more closer than our aunties and uncles have been growing up through in the States.
Yeah, for sure. It's really, I think, just like
which I can't blame them. So I mean,
it's not like a blame game. It's more of like understanding the environment is different now and will be different in the future.
And we could take blame. We could take blame for not communicating what we need or what we want. Yeah. Because, we just didn't. It was a trial and error, and we were making a lot of errors, and we just, that's what happened.
So for the end of that article, it really talked about how helping change this culture and really magnifying the beauty of the Filipino culture, and kind of working on those toxic parts, it has to come from both ends, both from like the generation we talked about of it being younger generation and also our elders and stuff like that. And so I think that's a really important aspect of like titos and titas, aunties and uncles need to be able to learn and understand and listen to.
Yeah. And in the article, they say we need to break the cycle and we can't really blame it on, it's part of the culture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this article, if we plan a course of action and just start the dialogue, I think it'll go a long way of hopefully improving that. I think what do you think is the moral of the story for this article is?
I think the moral of the story is perspective, like learning that like our parents have gone through things and they've learned things, but what they've learned does not fully apply to what some of us Filipino Americans are going through.
Yeah. They sacrificed their whole social life for us.
Yeah.
They sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
They changed their whole life.
Yeah.
Forget moving to a whole state. They went to a whole different nation.
Learned a whole different language, learned to be chameleons in like working and stuff like that. So I can understand like that aspect of like, just like, if you think about it, the reason why they tell Filipinos to be nurses because they saw that was a very safe, successful thing.
It worked in the past, so it's
Yeah.
like, why break it?
Yeah,
Just
and so
learn how to adapt to it. It would like they did.
yeah, and so definitely give respect to that, and then also giving a lot of respect to some of the Filipino Americans out here that are trying to pursue their own path too, to be able to understand, like, if you didn't choose nursing, it's okay. If you find it, just we have the work ethic, guys. Like, we're definitely hardworking.
We do.
We are really hardworking. We're definitely determined in that. It's just finding the right gear that spins for you.
Before I answer that question, if you were going to ask me that, I think if you're the kid and you want to communicate your feelings, you got to phrase that you got to prepare the answer.
Yeah.
Because the OGs, if you go some type of way on them and they feel like attacked, and they're going to be like, Allah, don't you know I sacrificed this and this and this
yeah,
for
definitely
this?
be careful and
Just think about what you're going to say before you say it, because they're entitled to that respect.
yeah,
I know it's frustrating when they feel like, when you guys feel like you're not
being heard.
or you don't earn that respect that they earn. I mean, or not given the respect that they have,
Yeah.
but they earned that. So I mean, like, just talk to them.
Yeah,
subtly.
definitely always talk to them with respect and like build that slowly with them. If you don't go straight at them and be like, why did you cry? Like, you know, this, if you could build up to like that conversation, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely want to walk that line of respect. And then also, if there's any others listening, take a time to slow down and listen to what that younger person is saying, right? Because they might not know the exact words, but they're coming from a certain place in their heart. Just like how elders are coming of a certain place in their heart to keep us from being safe, or keeping us safe and keeping us in a track that is successful. Like adding that same perspective and energy. If you're an older sibling, if you're an elder, auntie, like, give a chance and listen to some of these younger ones, especially if they're being respectful. Like, don't omit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, really just. That's where that cycle could start to break and that dialogue starts to happen for sure.
And there's a safety net. If you guys feel pressured to have it figured out by 25 and be married and blah, 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 I mean, I feel like a lot of us have a good safety net. Like, people will look out for each other in our culture. So,
and I think that's the thing I love about the Filipino culture, even in America.
Yeah.
It's like, you could kind of go and be like, yeah, you could get other Filipinos to be around and support you, like, especially in like the YFC and YFL community. I could go to other states and they'll be like, hey, what's up, man? Welcome, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, you know, we have that support system in our culture, which is great.
yeah.
Don't take advantage of it, but definitely
Don't waste your time, but at least think about it. Have an active conversation with it. So I think moral of the story is perspective, communication. I mean, it sounds very cliche, but it's something we've neglected for years.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
It's like Siddhartha is finding yourself. So this is a very important thing that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Break the cycle.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Abby Pasion.
Yep, that was a really good article. Definitely, if you see it on Facebook, give it a share. It's definitely a really good,
Or read it. Watch the
really
video.
good read. The video is really interesting too.
I missed on the video, but I'll watch
Video is
that.
really interesting too. So that's episode 1
Yes, sir.
of Beacon Road. We have a bunch of other stuff lined up too. We hope that you enjoyed this first episode. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It was a controversial topic, but the episode 1, we'll make you guys laugh on episode 2.
Yeah, this one's a little bit on the more serious medium side.
Episode
medium.
2 is kind of more of us, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna give that energy all the time because we're damn near 30.
Yeah,
So
and also we're keeping this authentic. Nobody
So-
could have that energy 100% all the time.
that's not sustainable.
Yeah,
It's called cirrhosis. Look it up.
Oh, my bad. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for listening and joining in. We hope you have a good one. Peace out.
Cheers. Peace.
See you.